everyone, I'm Jodi and welcome back to my channel. I'm really glad that you've stopped by today. If you are new to my channel, welcome. This channel is all about helping busy and ambitious women 40 plus get the information that they need to help them look and feel their most beautiful, whether it is beauty tips or product reviews, and that's what today is. Today's video, I'm going to share with you some of my top picks for tinted moisturizers in the affordable category. You might remember about 6 weeks ago, I did a video on luxury tinted moisturizers, and the price point was in the luxury space. There are some really good tinted moisturizers in the affordable space. Now, some label this the drugstore brands. I don't know, it just feels like the word drugstore seems to carry this less than connotation to it. And I have to say, some of these tinted moisturizers I think would hold up and do just as well as some of those luxury moisturizers that I tested. Now, one thing is true, and that is that in tinted moisturizers, there can be an incorporation of skincare. And in most cases in the luxury space, it's that skincare that causes the price point to be higher. Now, what I have for you today is a few that will surprise you with the amount of skincare that they have in them. One that was a disappointment in the skincare that it actually had versus where it marketed itself. And then I've got a surprise at the end in terms of which one is my absolute top favorite. So if this is a video that you are interested in, if you are ready for a tinted moisturizer, whether it's part of your normal routine or if you're wanting to sort of get out of a full coverage and you just like a little bit of a nice glow radiant finish to your skin, then tinted moisturizers might be the right way for you to go. Now, tinted moisturizers are considered part of your base and they would go in after your cleanser, your sunscreen, serums, and moisturizer, and then your tinted moisturizer. Now, some people ask, do I need to wear a moisturizer if I'm wearing a tinted moisturizer? And I would say that for those of us that are over 40, over 50, that tend to have more dry skin, it absolutely wouldn't hurt to put on a moisturizer and then your tinted moisturizer. You're just gonna get good hydration throughout the day. Now, if you're more on the oily side, you may not need the moisturizer before the tinted moisturizer. So you just kind of wanna know what's best for your skin type. In terms of tinted moisturizer and the application, most can go on very easily with your fingers, with a brush, or with a wet beauty sponge. If you prefer a thicker coverage, but in the tinted moisturizer space, then I would use a kabuki brush. If you really just want sort of that natural, dewy, sort of see-through, but a little bit more evened out skin tone, then a damp beauty sponge could be your best choice. And there's always your fingers, which is what I typically like to do with my tinted moisturizer. Now, if you want to have a tinted moisturizer, but you still have some imperfections that you want to cover up, then you just want to touch those up really softly with a concealer first, and then put on your tinted moisturizer. And that little bit of concealer will help hide the imperfections, even out your complexion, and then your tinted moisturizer will sort of make everything go together in a little bit more radiant, dewy finish. So if that's a type of video that you guys are interested in, then I think you'll find some really good options here. I tested 14 different tinted moisturizers before I selected this group. And I think part of the challenge that I kept finding was the color match. And that was probably, if I had to say what was the biggest reason that the other, out of 14, the other 10 didn't make this list, it was really because of either the color match or it was just zero coverage or it just really, really highlighted wrinkles, fine lines, and pores. And for me, that is just can't do it. In addition to it not settling into fine lines and wrinkles and pores and sliding all over my face, it had to work well with my sunscreen and it had to work well without a setting powder. That's a lot of criteria for these finalists to overcome, and I think you'll be impressed with each and every one of them. So the first one is by Colourpop. Now, this is their Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer. It comes in 24 shades. I have it in shade 8N. It's cruelty-free, vegan, it's lightweight, and it has hyaluronic acid in it, which I love. So the thing that one of the top reasons that this made my list, and I'm gonna put 4 of them on my hand just so that you can see, because my hand is discolored, has discoloration, and this just really allows you to see a nice, healthy glow. You can still see a little bit of imperfection, so it's not a full coverage. This is 1.5 4 or 5 ounces, so almost 1.5 ounces for $14. It also has coconut water in it, and it's very soft on the skin. And again, this worked best with when I put it on with a damp beauty sponge and when I used a primer. Now the thing about this one is it lasted, I would say, about 7 hours before I started to go, maybe that doesn't look as good. Now, had I put a setting powder on it or maybe a setting spray, I could have got more wear out of it. I am not a fan of testing products with a setting powder because a setting powder is just not that universally used in this age bracket. So it just didn't feel like a fair comparison, because if it worked with setting powder, it's probably not going to work for how we're going to use it most days. So the reason I really like this one is not only is it cruelty-free, I think I said that, but it really gives a nice natural finish. It felt very soft on the skin and it didn't really transfer. I mean, to some degree it would, but there wasn't much. You don't need much, so that you really didn't get much transfer. And then you can kind of see that between the difference of the two hands. I put it on this farther side. So I was really impressed with this. And Colourpop continues to be impressive in their, not only their price range, but the quality. Their eyeshadows have been really good. I just tested one of those not too long ago. So if you're looking for a good affordable line and you like to stick within one brand, then Colourpop might not be a bad option to sort of become familiar with. Now the next one is this Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint, and it is for 1 ounce, it's about $10 depending on where you get it. It's a dewy finish, it's very buildable, it has a soft glow. It comes in 8 colors because it's really more of a, it gives you a nice glow, but it's not necessarily, I don't know why it's not in the tinted moisturizer category, because that's exactly what I think it does. You can see there's some color there. It's going to deposit color on the skin. I mean, you can see there's color on my hand, and it leaves it really nice and glowy. Now the thing about this one that I liked is how soft and dewy it is and how a little bit really goes a long way. The one thing that I would caution you on is it doesn't have sunscreen. It stayed on for about 5 hours, which to me was a little disappointing. What I think this would really ultimately be best for is if you were gonna wanna go out and you wanted just your neck and your chest and maybe your arms to match, and you just wanted a nice healthy glow with a little bit of a tan, then I think this would be probably a really good option for that, which is why I left it in this review, because I think there's some good value there and it's a good product. I just think I would use it for a different reason. It didn't settle into fine lines and wrinkles. I don't think that it did much for my pores. I didn't feel like it made them smaller, appear smaller or larger, but the wear wasn't as long. So again, if you have a special event maybe that you're going out to and you just kind of want to have a nice, healthy, shiny glow, I think that's a great price point at $10. And you might notice I am not using those wipes so much anymore, the makeup wipes. I've just read so much about the beauty industry and how we're really contributing to the plastics and the landfills and by single-use application of things. Now, I think about that in my kitchen, of course, but I never really was mindful of it to the degree that I am now in terms of how many things in our beauty routine do we use single use. And those, you know, those beauty wipes are one of them for sure. And my eye patches, I've stopped using those as often and use the Jade roller, which I'll show you in an upcoming skincare video. But I'm really trying to get better. I'm certainly not perfect at it, but I'm definitely trying to be more aware of things that I use one time and then throw it away. Where this I can use and we can wash it and I can use it again. Now, the next one, you guys, I was really impressed with, and that was the L'Oreal True Match Nude. You know, L'Oreal Paris is the cosmetic brand for L'Oreal, the large cosmetic company. When you do some research on L'Oreal as a company, and more specifically the L'Oreal Paris brand, which this is, there's a lot of research that goes into their products, and they've been doing it for such a long time. Now, I do think one of the reasons that a more luxury tinted moisturizer is at the price point that it is not only because of the skincare, but also because of the packaging and the way the bottle works. And what I mean by that is it's such a good product, but this pump does nothing for how good this product is. In fact, it's a little bit distracting. Now it is 1% hyaluronic acid, which makes it on the serum side, which I absolutely love about it. So it's really designed, I think, for us more mature women, our more mature skin. I would still use, and I still did wear a moisturizer under this. And if I didn't say I used the Laura Geller spackle, as my primer. And I just use a little bit of primer right here where my pores get a little bit enlarged, and then on my chin, which is starting to look more and more like an orange peel if I was trying to come up with something, you know, which is frustrating, but hey, it's age and that's just what happens. Now, what I loved about this, there's a lot of things to love about this product. One of them is that it comes in 13 shades, but the shade ranges, each shade, numbers 1 through 13, can hold about a variation of 3 different shades within it. So you're really getting more like 39, 40 types of shades out of it, which I think is necessary to be inclusive. It's lightweight, it's buildable, and this one wore really, really well. I think it's very good for dry skin because of that hyaluronic acid in it. This wore for about 8.5 hours each time I tested it. It did not settle into fine lines and wrinkles. Some people have actually thought this might be a dupe for the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, which Giorgio Armani is a L'Oreal brand, so who knows? It's not far off, that's for sure. So if you like Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, then this might be a good summer alternative, or it might be a good vacation alternative for you, or it may just be a good switch all the way around because of that hyaluronic acid in it. The one drawback to this one, and I think L'Oreal, if anybody from L'Oreal is listening, this is my only complaint, is that it comes in this droplet dispenser. Now the problem with that is that as you go to put it in, if you don't aim right in the bullseye, then you're gonna end up with moisturizer around the side. And then when you go to close it, it just oozes out on each side of it. So I've tried to be really careful with it, but I don't want to have a product where I have to be so careful with it. I'm in a hurry, and if I have an extra couple seconds, I'd rather spend it on outlining my eyebrows better than delicately putting this lid back in. So again, if I had to critique it, that'd be my only critique. Now, the other thing that I loved about this is if you do not like shopping for makeup out in public, you don't live in an area where you can just run to the store to color match, L'Oreal does a fantastic job of color matching on their website. I actually matched this color, and this is 2-3 light pale, I think it says. And I matched this with their online matching system. It's called a virtual try, and you just go to their website like I'm showing you here and put in a picture and look at different types of different colors on your skin type. Now, it's not exactly perfect, but I did get the right one the first time. I love that. I would just highly recommend anybody that has more dry skin that's looking for a good, affordable tinted moisturizer. That's a really good one. All right, so we've got 2 left. We've got one of the bigger disappointments of all 14, and then we've got the winner of the winners, the best of the best. But any of these I just mentioned, I would absolutely use. But I do have like my number one just by a margin coming up. Before we get to that one, I wanted to just share with you my thoughts on this Neutrogena Healthy Glow Anti-Aging Perfector. Now, I was really excited about this because it states it has retinol in it. Now, retinol, as you know, is really important for keeping your skin fresh and dewy and helping to exfoliate. So that's important as we get older. It's a critical piece of our skincare. So this one, I thought, great, if you could have moisturizer that's tinted and retinol and 20% SPF, that sounds pretty good to me. The thing is, and Neutrogena is so good in their skincare, which is why I was really hoping for this one to work. And it's a new product. It comes in 8 different shades, and this was the side that we did with the True Match, so I'll make sure I go on this side. A couple things. One, this pump dispenser gets clogged so fast that probably by the 3rd time I squeezed, aggressively because it wasn't coming out, and I shot it a good 3 feet across my vanity, which is a really bad idea. So the pump gets clogged, and you spend a lot of time just trying to get it to come out. Boy, my sound effects, aren't they just something else? I was definitely... I'm gonna really work on that so I don't leave you guys so many sound effects. So that was the biggest thing. And then what I felt was you can see it is thick, but with 8 shades, I just couldn't really find one that was anywhere close. This is way too orange, and this was the medium to deep. So I did go down a shade. It was a little bit too light. It really doesn't cover much at all. And I know, again, a tinted moisturizer is meant to kind of just make everything glow and look hydrated. I felt like this made my skin look very dehydrated. And I did use it with the moisturizer under it first, and it just did not look good. And it transferred terribly. I remember I walked past the corner of the bed because I had tried it on my legs too, to think, well, maybe if you've got it, would it be good for like a fake tan, or if you wanted to go out one night and still have a little bit more of a color, where this one would add some glow. Because this was so pigmented, I thought, well, maybe that would be good. I put it on my legs and brushed past the bed. Now, it doesn't suggest that you should put it on your body parts. Well, you know what I mean, your legs or arms or whatever. Or, well, you know. And so it doesn't say to do that, but I figured skin is skin. It should be able to work just as well. And it said it had retinol in it. So for me, I was really excited about that. Retinol is the 18th, yeah, it was the 18th ingredient. And from everything that I have learned from books and talking to different chemists, what they say is you really, past 7 ingredients, it's such a small amount that it is really there to help stabilize the product, and less about any impact it's gonna have on your skin. So for it to be the 18th ingredient was disappointing. I mean, I just felt like, yes, it's in there, but it's really not doing a whole lot. Now, it's not hurting your skin, but it wasn't really helping anything. So for those reasons, I had to just give it a big, which really hurt my heart because I like Neutrogena products. I really think that Neutrogena gold, sort of gold transparent bar, I think it's called an acne bar. I still swear that is what kept me from getting acne as a teenager. My mom insisted that we use that stuff every day, and my sister and I were really acne prone. My sister refused to do it. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll be happy to use it. And I didn't have nearly as much acne as my sister did. In fact, I hardly had any. So obviously there's difference in body chemicals and things like that, and environment and stressors and stuff. But I think that stuff worked fantastic. So some of their night creams, some of their day creams or moisturizers, some of their skin treatments, their eye treatments are phenomenal. So I'm really wanting to be able to bring you guys a good Neutrogena makeup product. So I will keep working on it. They do have that really good Neutrogena Hydroblast waterproof mascara. I did forget about that, but I do like that one. I put it in my waterproof test. It works great. I still have it in my travel bag because I think you guys know this by now, but my 3rd coat of mascara is always a waterproof mascara so that I don't transfer anything underneath my eyes. So Neutrogena does make a couple good makeup products, but skincare, they're tough to beat in the skincare category from an affordable price point. So now the final winner, and I think this would fall in the tinted moisturizer category, and this is the Stila Hide and Chic Foundation. Now, this is not necessarily new. It's one that I had not tried before. I do use Stila's eye pencils and their waterproof eyebrow pencil, but I had never tried their foundation. It is buildable. You do need to shake it. That is a really important part to using this. There's a lot to love about this by Stila. Number one is it is very, very dewy, radiant finish when you're finished. And it lasts for about 8.5 hours. It did on me anyway, and that was with a little primer and again, just a moisturizer and no setting spray or no setting powder. But it covers beautifully without looking covered. And your skin feels nice and soft and dewy and not tacky. The one downside to this is that it comes out very thin. It's almost as if you're putting on water, so you have to know that. But even after you shake it, you have to shake it to get the ingredients activated, the website said, but it's still a more runny consistency. However, once you get past that and you get comfortable putting it on, you can see how well it covers. So it's very light, like I said, and it just feels nice and natural. It does not oxidize. This lasted again all day. It didn't seem to transfer, but the best thing is it didn't settle into fine lines for me. It didn't really go into these patchy areas in my chin. It was surprisingly beautiful. In fact, I had someone tell me that day, gosh, your skin looks beautiful. What do you wear? And that doesn't happen that often, especially in the wintertime. I think I shared with you that it comes in 30 shades. So I was very, very impressed with this. I think if you're looking for a nice, glowy, tinted moisturizer to just go over if you don't like a lot of makeup, or if you wear glasses, for example, and you like a little something but full coverage just sits too close to the rim of your glasses, then this might be something that you really like. In addition to it coming out runny, I did read a lot of the comments that people had said in the reviews on it from a couple different websites just to get a more rounded perspective of dry skin, oily skin, combination skin, or normal skin. I have more normal skin, and all's normal is in the makeup industry. It just means that you really don't have an excess of oil and you don't have dry skin. So I don't have combination skin per se. The people that have dry skin really in our age bracket was very complimentary of how this wore. The one thing that did come up in a few reviews, and I experienced it myself, is similar to this Neutrogena, the way it comes out, this nozzle, this pump can get clogged really, really easily. And before you know it, you don't even press that hard and you've just had a heck of a mess to clean up. So, and that did happen. I almost ruined a shirt because of it, even after I had read the reviews. I hope Stila can do a little something, maybe make it a little bit wider. I don't know the answer. I'm not in manufacturing, but I think there's some opportunities there. But regardless of how it comes out, once you're aware of it, it wears really, really well. And I have it in medium 1. It's on sale for $19.50 at the time of this video on Stila.com. And fingers crossed that's not because they're gonna discontinue it, because I have just found it. I've just brought it into my life and I want it to stay. I hope this helps you find a good tinted moisturizer for either your face or your neck, your shoulders, or your arms as we get into summer. I had a lot of fun reviewing this category and found a couple really good gems, I think. I'm impressed with that Stila and that L'Oreal True Nude Matte. That's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this review and found a good new product to try. Let me know in the comments below if there's a tinted moisturizer that you really, really like that we should know about so that other people might want to give it a try. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.